It's your destiny to greatness with Dr. C and Brothers Keeper. Today, where we've been, where we're going, and Friday trivia. And now, here are Dr. C and Brothers Keeper.
Hello everyone and welcome to your Destiny to Greatness. We have another great show for you today. And the subject of today's show is break free. Break free, Brothers Keeper.
Break free.
Yes.
Sometimes you just have to break free.
Exactly. And I can smile like this today because I experienced that breaking free, and it's such a good feeling. It's such a good feeling. So many times we're just in bondage, not necessarily physical change, but there's so many things that just grab a hold of us and it holds us down and keeps us back from achieving greatness. But when we can break free.
Dr. C, if we could pause there for a second, what come to mind when you said that was many times we're stuck in that dark place and we don't even know that we need to break free.
Oh, yeah.
Because we get settled in that spot.
Comfortable.
And we, as you say, we get comfortable with that position. Not even realizing all the dysfunction that's bestowed upon us. Yeah. We'll take it and just wag it around with us just like it's a loaded sack behind us.
Right.
And as you say, once we get connected to God and He starts to give us some clarity, then we'll have the unction, that inward strength to want to break free.
Right, because getting to know the Lord, that's empowering.
Yes.
It lets us know that we don't have to take any and everything and that we can do much better.
Yes.
So that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be breaking free, and we just hope and pray that we can help you get to that point where you'll break free and cut some chains that may be holding you down or back. So give us just a little moment, and when we come back, we'll continue with this special message. Break free. Well, today we're talking about the subject break free, and that's personal for you and us. Breaking free, getting to the point of where we're free to do the things that God has planned for us to do. And you might be wondering, well, what do I need to break free from? Anything that is holding you back, anything that has you in bondage, could be mindset, fears from people who are just takers and not givers.
And if I could piggyback on that, Dr. C, anything that hinders us from walking in our purpose that God has designed for us to be or do in our life, you know what I mean? So I'm glad that many times when we're in bondage, that there will be a person there beside us or near us that can guide us to the point where we can even recognize where we are. Because if you ain't got that person there where you can gauge yourself by, you may never see any reason why to change, because you don't see no contradiction in whatever's going on.
Well, you did mention before the break in reference to us being comfortable in whatever negative state that we're in. And many times, and I'm sure it's similar or for males, but I know as females, when we're in relationships and as females, we definitely always want to love and be loved. And sometimes we can be in relationships that are not very good for us. They're not healthy physically, mentally, spiritually, but because we have in our mindset that this is what I want to be in a relationship, I want to just be that lover and be loved, we will take down and we'll take abuse, whether it be physical or it could just be emotional abuse, but we would do that sometimes.
So what I hear you saying, Dr. C, is sometimes we will downplay our standards.
Yeah.
And
yes.
sometimes unknowingly we lower them, and sometimes just from the being stuck in the situation and as the better use of the word, being regular with doing things on a daily basis, it will cause you to give in to some things that you wouldn't normally. Then you start giving and start giving, and then you lose sight on who we are, because it's self-inclusive. And as I said earlier, until someone comes along and give you a little boost, hey, whoa, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? And many times, as you said, even when they do come, they'll find an excuse to say, oh no, it's not like that.
Right.
And make an excuse for it, because now that they've stuck in this pattern, they don't really want to be free. They see no reason to break free.
No, because sometimes we will say or even will think that we deserve better, but then really we kind of discount that because we have been in this negative situation so long. I don't see that I can have any better. I'm too afraid to cut ties with someone who really truly doesn't love me and doesn't treat me the way that I should be. So then from my mindset and then even my heartstrings, I'm so vested in this relationship, whether it's good or not, that I won't do anything to change, because it's kind of scary to do that.
Then so, if I can piggyback on what you're saying, many times people will set up this facade around their friends and family, and they'll have them thinking everything is so lovely in the relationship.
Right.
And they don't want to do anything to change that thought process of how someone thinks about them and their relationship. They wouldn't want them to have any negative feelings about what's going on. And they create a new normal. Even though they see otherwise, in their mind, they'll create their own new normal just to keep the facade rolling.
Right, that everything is going well, that, you know, relationship is perfect, which there are no perfect relationships. But even in that, sometimes it is our family that keeps us in bondage, because case in point, I know of an instance where as growing up, siblings, there was one who would fight, could fight. There was another who wouldn't, but the one that could fight felt that she had to protect her sister at all costs, and the sister just constantly kept being moved up and elevated as far as with the good treatment. But then the other, because she was, you know, in bondage from feeling responsible for that sibling, she would just constantly get in trouble and do all type things like that, and then her self-esteem just kept lowering.
Yes, and to spin off from what you're saying, and sometimes it doesn't have to be the violent part of it. It could be them feeling responsible, and then they enable that other person because they tend to do everything for them too. And then somewhere along the line, when that person finally grows up and ventures off on their own, the other one is left there feeling like, I invested all this, I really never got anything for me. And now they're going on about their business like what I did didn't even matter, discounted what I did. And honestly speaking, that person who left, it's not their fault, because they weren't the one with the issue. It was the person that was doing all the stuff.
But that's something that we have to learn, that we are worth it and we can do better. We don't have to be dumped on all the time. I mean, just as well as we're constantly giving, then we should
be receiving.
We should be. And not bad things, good things. Yeah. Because any type of relationship
needs balance.
Needs balance.
Yes.
There's give and take. in a relationship. So not just one should be given. But I tell you what, Brothers Keeper, God, He knew all of this way back when, that we would have these type issues. And He set it up. And in 2 Corinthians 6:14, it says, do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers. For what partnership has righteousness with lawlessness, or what fellowship has light with darkness? So even when I'm talking that unequally yoked, it may not be someone that I'm in an intimate relationship with. I know it definitely means that, but it could be my circle of friends not be unequally yoked, because if you're thinking and if you're thinking, excuse me, and your goals are totally different from mine, then that's not going to be a good pairing.
Yes, I often tell my friends, and I thank them sometimes for God pairing us up, and we always say like-minded people will get a lot further than those who aren't, because if you take 2 steps forward, then you run into a problem where you two are disagreeing over something and you can't get past it. It seems like you fall back 3. So if you keep doing that, now you should have been 10 steps ahead, and you're still at 5 a year later, when 6 months ago you should have been at 20.
Right.
But you can't, because you got so much, like you say, the unequal things that are going on. But with that like-minded person, they get talking and they be around each other long enough that they start accenting what each other say. You know what I mean?
Yes, they'll do that, and then they will push the other.
Yes.
You know, don't settle. You can do it, and encourage. It's not like a pull of negative forces. It's nothing like that. But I think that's very important. And it's important for us all. And sometimes we have to do some inspection on the inside. And look, what is it that we want? What do we desire? And what does it mean to us to actually have those things? And if ultimately we desire peace and a close relationship with Jesus, then we'll start looking at ourselves and then the people that we have linked up with.
Yes, and it's very important, as you say, to do that inspection periodically, because sometimes you get stuck in a rut, you won't even know you're in the rut.
No, we won't.
But if you at some point, we'll stop looking at the glass darkly.
Right.
Some clarity will come.
Yeah, and it's not always easy. See, one thing I know, the Lord, He will show you and He'll tell you when the season is over for a relationship. Whatever type of relationship that is, but many times we drag our feet in paying attention to Him, and it doesn't necessarily have to be anything that's bad, but sometimes in order for us to be able to move forward and walk towards our purpose, we have to shed some weights. We have to break some chains.
Yes. It's the same example as I said, like, well, y'all know how women buy clothes and shoes. And I often told my daughter, for every new piece that you buy, you should donate a piece. If not, if you're buying 3, you don't necessarily got to get rid of 3, but you can't keep buying 3, and not getting rid of anything, because after a while it creates clutter. And we have to have that presence of mind, like you say, in our life, the same way, that we start, as we go on a different level, we meet new people.
Sure.
And at some point, we don't forget about those people, but they're not as, I'm not going to say relevant, they're not as useful at this moment in time as whatever their service or their what's the word I'm looking for, their purpose in our life at that moment in time. They still be there, but as you moving up a different level, you have to look at different things that would bring more for your purpose.
So, Brothers Keeper, basically, it doesn't have to be a relationship. It could just be with us and the things that we're thinking, and sometimes we have to shed those things, anything that's keeping us back from reaching our full potential. It's not always easy, but it is beneficial when we can do it. What is your potential? Have you tapped into your potential? We believe in you, and we're just hoping that you'll begin to believe in yourselves. And not everything, even if it doesn't feel so good at the moment, is a bad thing. But if it's necessary for you to shed some of the weight and some of the burden, go ahead and do it, because we believe that our best, your best, is yet to come. So stay right there. Brothers Keepers coming with our Friday trivia question. We'll be back.
Hi, we're back. We have a character in the Bible who is trying to break free. And it's a story about Jesus was passing through, and there was a gentleman that was consumed by a demon. And it's so good to know that even though he was in his situation, he saw Jesus afar off, and he understood, even in his condition, that there was power with Jesus. And if he could get over there, and we were speaking earlier about recognizing when you need to break free, he knew if he could get to Jesus and talk to Jesus, he could get free from these demons. My question today is, once Jesus came on the scene and began to talk to the demon, he asked the demon what was his name. My question today, what is the name of that demon?
Okay. Search the scriptures and let us know what that man or the demon or demons that was possessing his body, let us know what his name was. Okay?
Yes.
Get your answer in by tonight, by 11:59
p.m.
Definitely. And email them to your.destinytogreatness@gmail.com. And thank you for those who are getting your answers in. Very good. So stay tuned. A little bit more for you. We'll be back.
Hi, my tip today. Many times we wonder why we're in a dark place, or we're suffering, or things aren't going our way. Well, just know, in that time of suffering, God sees us. My tip to you is endure. Endure till the end, because in our suffering, it creates more, or a more prudent character. That suffering is our seed of wisdom. In our suffering, we grow closer to God. And when we come out of that suffering, we'll be more appreciative to those things that are going well. So keep your best foot forward and keep pressing. It's just me thinking again. How often do you hear the phrase, it's better to give than to receive? Well, I'm here to tell you, it's better to give than there is to receive. Because when you are putting the other person first, you're letting God know that you're trying to be more like Him. And there are blessings that God has waiting for us that will overflow. But only if we're doing the things that we're supposed to do. I heard a gentleman talking today, and he said something that was powerful. He said, many times we expect God to give us full-time favor, and we give Him part-time service. Have you ever thought about that? How often will we go on our job, or how long will we stay there if we gave them full-time work and they gave us part-time benefits? I don't think we'd stay there long, would we? So how much more you think God would do for us if we start to give Him our reasonable service, that which is required of us, and then just a little more? Try it. You have nothing to lose. It's just me thinking again.
We are destined for greatness.
Just when you thought it was over, someone, Jesus, came in to clear your mind and to make you free. Trust Him. It ain't over. Some people say until the fat lady sings. We ain't thinking about the fat lady. We're just thinking about Jesus and his power to help us to break free from any chain that is holding us back. Go ahead and walk towards your destiny.
We are destined for greatness.